you guys, the basketball enthusiasts like this is Young Lane, and we are back with another performance review. Before we get into that, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you like what you see before or you like what you see today, and we will get right into these. The Nike Freak 6s. Obviously, if you guys are into this type of stuff, you know that the Freak 7s already released, maybe like a week or two ago, but I caught these late, so I am doing a review late, and I'm okay with that. Let's get right into the traction. For the traction, you have a storytelling traction. It is literally Giannis's logo just all over the place. What they did say is they made like a, I guess a design change. I haven't had by the way, I have not had a Zoom Freak since the 3s. Is that the Zoom Freak 3s? Or is that the 4s? Since the 4s. So I skipped the model and I went to the 6s. And then I never even really intended to grab these. I was on a trip for work in Detroit, and I decided to stop at the clearance store they had there, and these were sitting there for like $50-$60, and I figured why not grab them. I know that initially when I have like an app that I go through, and I saved this specific colorway, because if I was going to grab them, it was going to be this colorway, and they just happened to just be sitting on the shelves in, I believe, half a size smaller than I usually get, so an 11. And I still grabbed them, and no box or nothing. I had to somehow fit them in my suitcase, but what that had to do with this, I don't know. I will say, on the traction, my initial thought of it was just very stiff, and it didn't feel just like it didn't feel giving. It didn't feel like it was really going to perform well, and I was slightly surprised because it did perform a lot better than it felt to me. It wasn't a perfect sneaker, or it wasn't perfect traction. It wasn't terrible traction. It was somewhere in the middle there. You had times where it was great, and you had times where you're wiping a little bit more. So on like bad courts, you're gonna expect not the greatest traction. On perfect courts, you can expect perfect traction out of these. I guess we can move on up from there. On the midsole, for cushioning, you have a Cushlon 2.0, and then you have a Air Zoom unit in the forefoot, and then there is obviously this TPU, this plastic TPU piece right here in the midsole. Cushioning was not comfortable. I wouldn't say it was comfortable, but it wasn't uncomfortable. I feel like I'm just saying the same thing for everything because it's kind of how the sneaker performed. It wasn't something like extraordinary where it was super soft or super bouncy. Giannis, quite frankly, just doesn't need that, and I just want people to remember when they watch reviews that these sneakers are supposed to be made for the athlete. Like, they're not made for us. I know on some pairs, you know, they literally make a whole different sneaker for the athlete and make a sneaker for like the retail. I know that's happened, I think more than once with like the LeBrons, because he's just like a freak. Like, you can't put out sneakers meant for someone who's 6'8", 6'9", 260 pounds, who's windmilling through the lane at like 40 plus years old, and expect it just to perform the same way for just a normal consumer. But I get the feeling these were made for Giannis. And if it's for somebody who's damn near 7 foot, probably around 260, 270, this is a sneaker for him. Nothing crazy, no tricks, no bells and whistles. Give me what's going to perform well when I'm going 100 miles an hour down the court to dunk on somebody. Give me what's going to perform well. And I think these perform well for him. That is not me complaining. That is me just telling you there's just really not that much special here. I think the most special aspect to me is how they add so much storytelling to the sneaker, and that just tells you that he is very tuned into the design process. This is the Roses colorway, and this colorway is an ongoing colorway in the line. This is the colorway for his dad that it passed when he was younger. I made a video, I feel like maybe about when he's what's initially getting his the sneaker line. I believe I made a video and I talked about that, so I'll put it up there if it does exist somewhere. But that's why you see the roses all over the place. I kind of just wanted the sneakers for like an aesthetic. I just thought they were aesthetically pleasing. You got the roses all over the place, the thorns. You got the roses on the tongue added into his logo, and the roses. The theme is not just on the lateral portion. You can also see it on the medial portion as well, just a little toned down. And I know I skipped some of the performance stuff to go into the colorway, but the colorway is really why I bought them. I will say for the material, you had a mono mesh, and that was where I had like the main problem with these. Like I said, traction wasn't too bad, cushioning wasn't too bad, but the main issue I had was the material, and not that the material was uncomfortable or even just too stiff. It was that it wasn't breathable at all. I don't know what this mono mesh stuff is, but it didn't provide any breathability in the slightest. There were multiple occasions where I took these off and I was like, wow, like I didn't even realize it. Like there would be times where I played in them and I wouldn't even realize that it was that hot until I took the sneakers off. One particular time I took the sneakers off, and I'll put a picture up there. My socks were literally inverted. Like my entire sock had rotated on my foot and it was under my foot. I don't know if you guys have ever, just explain the picture, if you guys have ever used Nike Elite socks, it has a left and a right on there, right? So literally there's an L and there's an R on the front of the sock, so you can tell which sock is supposed to go where. And they were literally they started off at the top of my foot where they're supposed to be, and they ended up on the bottom of my foot. So that'll just tell you like how sweaty my feet were and how much they were moving in there. And I don't think the movement even had to do with the size, because I did say I did grab an 11. Usually with the smaller size, I'm not gonna get as much movement in the shoe, so it's just not gonna, the socks are not gonna move like that. But because of it being so hot and sweaty, like my socks just couldn't stop moving. And if you've ever used a Nike Elite sock, back to the Elite socks, like their main thing is like they wick the sweat away. So like if you use a regular cotton sock, or maybe from a different brand, I don't really use many other brands besides the Nike Elites, you will feel like sweaty socks. You will get socks that move around a little bit. With a Nike Elite sock, you don't really, that's not usually the thing that you get too much, and that was something that happened with these. I think it's funny. Heat doesn't really affect me. I've said it before, I'm not someone who complains about like having hot sneakers. It's really not a big deal. Like, I'm dripping in sweat when I'm done with these sessions. There's a rare occasion that I play like just for an hour. I'm usually out on the court, whether it's sitting down or waiting or shooting around. I'm usually playing for at minimum it's usually like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I'm dripping in sweat. Like I just expect to be hot. So having hot sneakers isn't usually a big deal for me, and it really wasn't a big deal for me except that one time when the socks inverted. But if that's a big deal for you, then this is not the sneaker for you. But we can wrap this all up with the Lockdown, and I will just say that that's probably the best thing for these sneakers, or the best thing that these sneakers provide you is Lockdown. You do not have flat laces, which is my major complaint. You do not have flat laces in there. The tongue was real nice. It's not too soft, which, like I said, this is basically the review. It's nothing extravagant. The tongue wasn't anything extravagant, but it did not move. You're not getting much movement out of this tongue. The laces are going to tie tight, and you're probably not going to think about it too much after that. You're not going to think about it too much after that. Your foot's not going to move much. Your heel's not going to move much. You're not getting much movement in these. You're going to feel pretty secure when you're making your hard cuts. When the traction is performing well, you're going to be just fine. It's a very basic sneaker. If you are a basic player, this is for you. If you're looking for bells and whistles, you have feet problems like I do sometimes, then maybe you want to try something else. You could probably find these at an outlet somewhere. Like I said, I bought these for like $60. It was between like $60 and $80. So if you have like a budget constraint, you can go and buy a good solid pair of ball sneakers right here. Once again, nothing amazing coming out of these. The colorway, this Roses colorway, to me, amazing. The Roses colorway is amazing. If you guys didn't know, I actually have a rose tatted on. I don't know if you guys can even see that. I have a rose tatted on my arm, and that is for a family member that passed. But that's my connection to these, right? So like I think the colorway is the best part about this. But as a basketball performer, I would wear these again. I have worn these after I was done testing them, in the middle of just waiting for me to get another pair. I have gone back to these. Like this is not something that I would say don't go back to because they're hot. Now that would be dumb to me. But that's it. That's all I have on these. Oh, one more thing. I ruined the insole on these, and the insole was one of the best parts about these sneakers. I will try and get you guys images of that, and that will be what I will leave you guys off with. Thank you guys for watching. Do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe button if you like what you've seen before, or you like what you saw today. This is the only way, and I'm out. You guys have a good one.